Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we are sprinting in the dark. Now, I really don't like the sound of that, if I'm honest. I don't like sprinting in the light, let alone in the dark. But you've clearly got Sleuth here sprinting. It looks like he's being chased by someone in the background as opposed to what a detective should be doing, which is chasing the criminals. Maybe a little bit of both is happening. Maybe he's that fast that he's already ahead of his colleagues that are way back there in the light. Well, let's take a look at today's puzzle. I'm sure you could have guessed that it is a fog of war puzzle, hence the dark. So we've got Sprinting in the Dark by Shing Gaming. And yeah, there's not a lot to say about the grid other than it is indeed, in fact, dark. So let's take a look at the rule sets. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means digits 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. You're very familiar by this by now. On a green German whisper lines, adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. Now I'm kind of chuckling to myself because, I can't really show a German whispers line, but I'm going to have to draw some. So, the way to interpret these rules, if, for example, if this is a 3, these have to be, the adjacent cells on the line must be 5 or more away. So that will be either 8 or 9, and this will also be 8 or 9. Now, if we continue with this 8 or 9 example, if this happens to be an 8, this needs to be 5 away. It's 1, 2, or 3, although clearly we've already placed a 3 down here, so it's 1 or 2. So you can see that with German whispers lines, we are essentially oscillating between a low digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, a high digit, 6, 7, 8, or 9, and then low, and then high, etc. Notice I didn't include a 5 in the example. Of course, if I place a 5 in here, well, what would you place on either side of it that is 5 or more away? We've also got on the purple renban lines, I can actually see one here. So for a change, I don't actually have to draw my own. But that's a line there. And I can at least see that it is certainly at least this much. So what this means is that we've got 3 contiguous digits on the line in any order. So for example, if that's a 2, these could be 1 and 3. They could also be 3 and 4. And notice they don't have to be in a particular order. I've gone down, then up. But the important thing is that you've got a continuous line of digits. Now, one more thing about both renban and whispers lines is that they are all 3 cells long. And I think that type of constraint is unusual, but in a fog of war puzzle, it just helps us to be able to sort of guess what these lines are. For example, I'm pretty confident that is the entirety of this renban line. Let's see what else. We've got digits in a white circle. We can kind of see the corner of one here. Must appear in the surrounding cells. So there's a circle of some sort in here. Am I going to even be able to draw this one? Does that work? No. 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 That didn't do anything. But there's essentially a circle in here, and I can see the digit 9. And what all that's saying is that there is a 9 somewhere in the 4 quadrants that are next to the circle. What else do we have? On a thermometer, this will be very tricky to draw. Digits increase from the bulb tip. I'm going to try and also draw this one. So let's imagine that's a thermometer, and let's imagine, yeah, there you go, that this is the bulb tip. Just think of it as a thermometer where essentially if that's a 2, this can't be a 1 because thermometers increase in temperature away from the bulb end. So that's got to be 3, 4, 5 or higher. For example, it can go all the way up to probably to 7. And these, whatever this may be, let's say it's a 4, this would also have to continue increasing. So that's the thermos. And what other rules do we have? I mean, I can see what looks like a V and a black dot, so hopefully that's the end of the rule set. That's a very long list of rules. Digits on an arrow. Sum to the circles sum to the digits in the circle. Digits in a killer cage, sum to the total in the corner, and cells connected by a white dot are consecutive. Cells connected by a black dot are in a ratio of 1 to 2. Cells connected by a V or an X sum to 5 or 10 respectively. So yeah, that's a lot of rules. I'm not surprised I had to decrease the font size to fit them all in. So we can see that there is a V in here. And all that V is saying is that these two cells that are connected by the V must add up to 5. So that could be 1 and 4. That could also be 2 or 3, for example. Black Kropke dot, we've got one here that's visible. So let's continue with our example of 2 and 3. If that's a 2, this would have to be either 1 or 4 to be in a ratio of 2 to 1. You could have a 4 in here, and that could be 2 or 8, for example. Now, imagine that this cell was actually this black Kropke dot, the half that we can see was white. All that's saying is that these two digits are consecutive. So if that was a 2, this would be 1 or 3. And we go back to our previous example. If that's a 4, that would be 3 or 5 to be able to join the 4. Now, I think we've pretty much explained everything except the killer cages and the arrow ones. So let's try this as an arrow. I don't know how I'm going to show this. Is that going to even work? No. So imagine that this is the arrow tip and this is a circle at the end. All that means is that these 3 cells on the arrow shaft add up to a value. Let's say that's 1, 2, and 3. And whatever that value is, it will be placed in here. So if that happens to be 1, 2, and 3, that will be a 6, and that's the sum of these arrows. And then lastly, we have a killer cage. I'm definitely not going to be able to show that, but I will certainly give it a go. I'm going to erase that separately. Let's continue with our example. So imagine that there is essentially a cage that looks as follows. What that means is that these 4 cells are going to have a digit in the top left corner. Possibly, I say a digit, it could actually be multiple digits. And that the sum of these 4 cells must equal this. It doesn't say anything about the cells being unique. So you can see that this cell here, which I'm going to color orange, could potentially be repeated here or there, since they are not sharing the same row, column, or box. Wow. No shortage of rules today. If you feel like sprinting in the dark, not that I would recommend this at all, and you want to play along on this puzzle, link will be in the description down below as usual. And with that said, let me restart the clock. Hopefully that will clear all of this mess that I've been drawing in here and see how I get on. Now, the advantage of fog of war puzzles is they very much spell out to you where you need to be looking. Because, you know, it's grey. There's really not a lot you can do. And I think this renban line very obviously is not going to help us a lot because we have no idea what this is. This could be as low as 1, 2, 3. Equally, this could be as high as 7, 8, or 9. And we have no idea where they are or what they are. However, we've got a V cell, a black Kropke dot, and a 9. Now, which one of these 4 cells could possibly be a 9? A 9 with a -4 to get to 5. Clearly, that's not it. A 9 joined with a black Kropke dot to be either 18 or 4.5. Clearly, this is not it. That's the 9. Now, we've got 1, 4, and 8. This is obviously the 1, 4 to add up to 5. That's the 8. That's the 2 to 1 ratio. That's the 4. That's the 1. Beautiful. So I can see that this cage is either 2 cells or 3 cells. I guess if it's 3 cells going down, because of the 1, that would break. So one possibility is this is 2 cells. And if it's 2, well, we've already placed 1 and 4 here. So this is 2 or 5 joined with, I assume, a 1 or a 4. Well, it's not a 1, so that's not a 5. So one possibility is this is 2, 4 to get to 6. The other possibility is that this is 2 and 3 with a 1. Unfortunate part is we can't actually tell which is it. Well, we don't know if that's the one, but we do know that there is definitely a 2 in here. Not hugely helpful, if I'm honest. German whispers lines. And remember, all lines are 3 cells long. We have what looks like the end of a thermo. We don't know how big that thermo is. You know, it could be a ridiculous 2-cell thermo, and something very ridiculous like this could be a 2, this could be a 3. But actually, even that doesn't work, because the 3 needs to be 5 away from something, and 8 and 9 are already taken. So if I actually put the 3 in there, I've broken the puzzle. And it can't be any lower than 3, because the thermometer here can't be a 1. So this is not 2, 3, and therefore not 2, not 3, not 1, not 4. This is a high digit. And that high digit is either 6 or 7, because we've placed 8 and 9. But if I place a 6 in here, to be 5 away, I'd need to duplicate the 1. So that's 7, and that has to be 2. And that confirms that this is a 3, a 2, and a 1, because I couldn't place a 2 in here, leaving only a 3, and then I needed to get to another 3 in there with these 2 cells. Now this is not 6, not 7, it could be 8 or 9. This 7 has a tremendous number of options. I'm not sure this is helpful, if I'm honest. Or if it is helpful, it isn't yet. So let's have a think about what these are. Is that the right place to go? I mean, I know that these 2 cells now are 5 or 6, but that's not enough, if I'm honest. So this is not 1, 2. It could be 3, joined with a 9 on this side. That's one option. And it's not 4 either. Now, the other possibility is that this is a high digit, and it's not 6, because that would require a 1 here. It's not 7, because that would require 1 or 2 here. It could be, it's not an 8, because we've already placed the 8 in the column. It can actually be a 9. And the 9, incredibly, can't be next to a 1, a 2, or a 4. We've got a 3, 9 pair. So that's 8, yep. 7 we now know is on this side. 4, 5, and 6, we can't actually place any of them. So I can only corner pencil mark the 7. Unfortunately, I don't actually know where this German whisper lines go. Can go all the way down, could go left or right. Really unclear. Here is something though. So take a look at this arrow. I already placed 1 and 2. So the minimum cells I can put in here are 3 and 4, meaning that this cannot be a 3-cell arrow. I mean, I guess technically it could be. It could be these 2 cells and then going up in here to get to 1, or up there to get to 1. It's not 2, it's not 3, so it would have to be 1 if it actually leaves this box. But whatever this is at least 7, 8, or 9. And if I go, I mean, it's 3, 4, or 5. I guess presumably it could also be a 6. So I could do 3, 6 to get to a 9. I could do 4, 5. Whatever it is, it's not 7, 8, or 9. And I'm starting to think, where does 7 and 9 go? Because of this renban and this 8. Because I can't put 9 in here. Can't put 9 on there. And I say I can't put 9 on the renban line because 9 would have to require an 8 duplicating it in the row. So this is the 9. There we go. And it is indeed a 2-cell renban. We should be able to solve this. So this is, we've not got a 7 in here. And I can understand that. 7 with a 3 would already get us to 10. So there is a 7 in here. Therefore, it's 5, 6, and 7. These are not 5 or 6. We've already placed them, pencil marked them in here. That's the 7. Right, 3, 9. And 9 could be a 4. A 3, if that was a 3, needs to be surrounded by 8 and 9, but I've already placed an 8. So that's the 4. That's the 9. That's the 3. That's not the 7 anymore. That's the 7. And we have another 5, 6 pair in here. Got 1, 2, and 3. This has to be a 4, 6 to get to 10. We've basically placed everything else. So that's not a 6. That's the 5. That's the 6. That's the 5. That's the 6. I should be able to complete this with an 8. Fabulous. Right, we know what these are now. This is 2, 5, and 7. And this is 1, 3, and 9. And if I've not made a mistake, the only 2 cells I can make join is a 2 in here with the 1 or 3. 9 can't join any of these, so that's not 9. 5 and 7 cannot join any of these, so that's the 2. Fortunately, I don't know which one it is. 1 and 3 both work here. I can see that there is a 3 in here, which means there is a 3 in this quadrant there. It's just not a lot to help us actually solve it, though. You can see what looks like another arrow. Yeah, there's very little information here, very little. I mean, so it's got to be the white Kropki dot. There's just nothing else that's telling us anything. So we know that the 8 is not here because the 9 and the 7 are both gone. This is not 5 and 5 or 6. So this could be, no, it's not even 5, 4. Because if I put a 5 in here, I'd need to have a 4 or a 6. And I've already pencil marked the 3, 4. So this is 1, 2. And this is 5, 6, 8. In fact, that's an 8. Because I've already pencil marked 5, 6 in a row. 1 or 2, you can see this is lovely actually. If I put a 1 in here, I'd need a 2 there to be adjacent with the white Kropki dot. I'd also need another 2 in the column to be adjacent with the black Kropki dot. Well, not adjacent, in a 2-to-1 ratio. So that's 2, that's 1, that's 4. And this is 7 or 8, you know, adding these 2 up to get to this. We've already got the 8, so that's the 7. Therefore, that's the 5, the 6. I can see we've got a 3, 8 pair here. And then a 1 to finish this. And therefore, we've got 4 and 9. And whatever this cell is, 2 to finish the box. They're being, like, I mean, Shing is being extremely diligent with the amount of information that he's sharing. There's really not a lot of information at any one point. But still surprisingly solvable. So we've got to figure out some things though. So 4s and 7s are down here. Actually is quite disruptive for this white Kropki dot. Maybe that is where I meant to look next. So 1 and 2 are not available. 3 can't go in here because 4 and 2 are not available. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not 5, 6. I mean 5 would break it because I can't put 6 or 4 in here. And 6 would also break. I'd have to put the 6 in there and I don't have 5 or 7 available. So this is from 7, 8, or 9. Well, 7 is already down here. This is an 8, 9. Wow. Which means there is a 9 in here. Got a 9 pair, a 9 pair. One of these is a 9. I was really thinking I'm going to disambiguate this and actually like reveal more of the puzzle, but I haven't. This German Whispers line, maybe? So again, we've got a 1, 2, 4 run. So the options are that this is a 3 with an 8, or an 8, well, it's not a 3. I was going to say it's an 8 with a 3. The reason I say it's a 3 here and an 8 is, remember, I've already placed 1, 2, and 4, so there's a 3 for sure in these two. That means that it's got to be 8 or 9. I've already placed 9 in the column. That's the 8. That's the 3. This is the 9, because it can only be adjacent to 8 or 9 when it comes to 3s. And we've got another. It might actually turn though, so got to be careful about assuming that it's a run. So this is 2, 5, 6, 8. That's not 6 or 8. So the question to ask is, could there be a 2 on this renban line? And I think the answer is no. 3's not available, 1's not available. Surely that's got to be the 2. So this is now 5, 6, and 8. Now the natural assumption would be that this is a 5, 6. But I think that would be a mistake to make that assumption, because as I said, this could absolutely turn. So this could be 6, 8, and a 7, for example, or a 7 up here. What I think I can be confident about, though, is that there is definitely a 6 in here. Because if I have 5 and 8, they're too far apart. I'm going to have 6 and 7 somewhere on this renban line to join them, and I've only got one more cell to do it. So that's 5 or 8, that's not a 6. Also means that there is a 5 in here, and I know where it is. Also means that there is now a 5 down there. In fact, I should probably take a look at this entire column, because not a lot of it is left to be done. It's just 5, 6, 7, isn't it? Except that's not 5, and that's, neither of these are 7 actually. 7 here, 7, well, 7 in the box. That's the 7. This is a 5, 6 pair. That's not the 9. So 9 is in here. Not hugely useful. It's not revealing any kind of new clues for us to take a look at. So we need to place the following to finish this box. We've got 1, 4, and 6, I'm going to say, except that's not a 6. Yep. We've got 1, 3, and 4 in here with an 8. Well, that's not a 4, so the 4 is up there. This is 1, 3, and 8 with definitely an 8 in here. I assume there is a loose 1, 3 with a 2. I know where the 2 goes. That's the 2. That's the loose 1, 3 pair. So this is joint with a 5 or 6. Not hugely helpful, if I'm honest. It doesn't actually help me figure out what to place where. What am I missing? Is there like a triplet in here? Not really. No. Have I missed anything? Also no. So there's another 5, 6. There's at least a 1, 3 in here because I can't put both 8 and 9 in this row. So essentially there is a 5, 6, an 8 or 9, and a 1, 3. You're going to have to sort of ignore how I'm showing these pencil marks, but essentially I've got kind of a 1, 3 or a 5, 6 with an 8, 9. And presumably, well, the other 5, 6 is in here. Presumably there's another 1, 3 in there somewhere with a known digit, a 2. So there's a 2 in here somewhere. There's a 2 in there somewhere as well. We've got a run of 1, 4, 6. So we've got another 1, 4, 6, a 2, and a 3 somewhere. This is proving very tricky. Actually, 3s, and notice we don't have a 3 in here because we've got a 1, 3 pair. So 3s and 3s somewhere in here means that I've got to have a 3 all the way up there. Wow. Right, so this is either 5, 6 joined with a 4 or 7, or this is 6, 8 with a 7. Very high chance that this is a 7. I really wish I was able to eliminate the fact that this could be a 4. I'm kind of surprised I'm not able to. What about 9s? I know that there's a 9 somewhere in these two. That's not the 9. We've got an 8, 9 pair. That's the 9. This can't be a 1. Hang on, there's a 6 in here. Yeah. Whoops. So that means this is 1, 4, or 7. This is in fact 4 or 7. That's the 1, 3, 1. Ouch. Should just be paying attention, really. 4, 3, 4. I mean, I kind of still need to go. I still needed to go down the path that I did. Just may have been a little bit easier than what I've done. So this is 4 or 7. That's not 8. That was always a 5 because we've got an 8, 9 pair looking at it. I'm sure some of you were screaming at your screen saying that's the 5. That's not the 5. This is a 6, 8 run. That's the 7, therefore. That's not a 7. That's the 4. No 7 in here. No 4 in there. No 5 in here either. And this is 6 or 7. Am I missing something again? I probably am. Yeah, this 9, 4, 9. That's the 4 now, finally. That's not the 4. I mean, this cage is probably what's going to help us basically just solve this entire thing. So this is from 5, 6, or 7. We knew that there's a 2 in here with a 1 or a 3. Right, back to this cage. So we need 22 between these 3 cells. Now even if I maximize it, that's 6, 7, and 9. 16 and 6, that's the 22. That's the only way I could do this. 6, 7, 9, 8. That's not a 7 anymore, or a 6. So that's the 5, the 6, the 5. 3, 9, 1, 8, 1. This is 2 or 3. What have I got looking up there? I know where the 5 is. That's the 5, not 6. This is a 6 now. This is a 7. That's an 8. That's a 6. 3, 8. That's a lovely puzzle. 1. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the solution to today's puzzle. It's a phenomenal puzzle, Shing. Lovely dog as well that's holding what looks like some kind of a bowl. Absolutely stunning puzzle. I think you're given constantly just enough information to just keep going through it. And I think the only reason why this is probably, I mean, as weird as that sounds, I think the only reason that this is still relatively approachable is the fog of war. Normally, the fog of war is actually almost like a restriction. It removes clues away from the grid, but the way it was essentially working is it's telling you where to pay attention, only ever really revealing 1, maximum 2 clues at a time, and then you just very quickly deduce which one you should be paying attention to, and it just keeps very smoothly flowing. So it's a beautiful puzzle, Shing. Absolutely loved it. And I hope that you guys have also enjoyed today's video, and see you back for the next one. Bye for now.